The boy thought he was playing a trick, but when he looked closely at his face, he was so scared he collapsed to the ground. He turned to his mom for help, but it was too late. In an instant, it turned into a living hell. Minutes later, when the boy's uncle, Dong-jae, arrived, it was already too late. The boy, bitten by a zombie, was mutating. Not only that, but the people lying on the ground would soon become zombies too. If they didn't leave now, it would be too late. Although Dong-jae was heartbroken, he had to stay calm for his sister's survival. He then pulled his sister towards the door. But as soon as they stood up, the boy, with the last bit of human consciousness, grabbed his mom's arm. His devastated sister couldn't bear to leave him. At that moment, Dong-jae was attacked by zombies. Forced to the door, Dong-jae could only watch helplessly as his sister was taken by the zombies. She turned to him for a final goodbye. Dong-jae knew it was hopeless, so when his brother-in-law arrived, he quickly shut the door from the outside. The man, witnessing his wife being devoured by zombies, cried his heart out. But those who survived had to live on. Since the zombie virus outbreak, neighboring countries had taken in many refugees. For their own safety, they decided to stop accepting more. Thus, Korea was isolated from the world. Fortunately, Dong-jae and his brother-in-law, Taemin, escaped to Hong Kong just before the last batch of refugees. But here, they were marginalized, facing discrimination everywhere. They lived in hardship for 4 years. Then, under a gang's commission, Dong-jae returned to Korea to find a truck loaded with $1 billion in cash. If he drove it back to the dock and completed the mission, he would earn a $10 million reward, changing his fate forever. They had only 3 days. Once time was up, regardless of whether they returned to the dock, the gang's smuggling ship would set sail. The mission went smoother than expected. They quickly found the truck, but to drive it away, they had to move the driver's body. Just as Taemin unbuckled the seatbelt, the driver suddenly opened his eyes. This delicate-featured pregnant woman was about to make a call when a beggar beside her suddenly grabbed her left hand, right in front of them. A few zombies were in the same carriage with them. The woman quickly looked behind her, only to find even more zombies there. The woman suddenly noticed an open restroom nearby. She carefully walked over with her big belly. After seeing the restroom was safe, she let a little girl hide inside first, followed by an elderly person with limited mobility. But she didn't notice that the zombies behind had heard the noise, luckily at the critical moment. The woman successfully hid in the restroom. At this time, her husband suddenly received her call. They were trapped in the restroom of carriage 13, but they were in carriage 9. To rescue them, they had to prepare in advance. Ma-gae led the way, Xiao Shuai supported from the middle, and Oh-jin guarded the rear to prevent zombie attacks. Once the train entered the tunnel, the three were ready to face death. Ma-gae charged ahead, kicking one zombie away, punching another, and then throwing one by the neck. Jin and Xiao Shuai prevented any from escaping. The fight quickly intensified, but Ma-gae was struggling. Jin rushed to help, and together they overpowered a large group of zombies, passing through the first carriage safely. In the next carriage, Xiao Shuai was about to act, but found it full of his classmates. Ma-gae saw Xiao Shuai hesitating. He pushed Xiao Shuai aside and punched one zombie, grabbed another's head, and took down 4 zombies in an instant. Jin was also fighting zombies, but without Xiao Shuai's help, they struggled. Soon, they were overwhelmed. Just as Xiao Shuai was about to join the fight, the train entered a tunnel and the zombies stopped attacking. Jin realized the zombies attacked by sound. He used a baseball bat to distract them, allowing the group to move to the next carriage. But this carriage had even more zombies. If they forced their way through, it would be a deadly risk. Jin quickly thought of a plan. He borrowed Ma-gae's phone, threw it to the other side of the carriage when the train entered the tunnel, and used the ringtone to lure the zombies away, allowing them to pass without a fight. In the last carriage, Ma-gae found his wife, but it wasn't safe. They decided to head to carriage 15. Xiao Shuai's girlfriend excitedly told others in the carriage, but was met with indifference and selfishness. A man in a suit was furious, and no one helped despite her pleas. Jin's plan was to use the tunnel to pass the next 2 carriages, but they only had 2 minutes. They didn't know the situation in carriage 15. When the train entered the tunnel, they decided to climb over the luggage rack, but there were too many zombies below. Jin used a luggage bag to distract them, then helped others across. Everything went smoothly until a beggar accidentally made a noise. Luckily, he hid in time and wasn't discovered by the zombies. Jin quickly went to rescue the beggar, but the train exited the tunnel. They had to hide behind the seats. Jin told the beggar to leave on the count of 3, but the nervous beggar tried to escape before Jin finished counting, accidentally stepping on a lever, attracting the zombies' attention. They ran for their lives. Ma-gae hurriedly closed the door, but it was too late. Jin and Xiao Shuai tried to open the opposite door, but it wouldn't budge. It was tied by people in carriage 15, who not only didn't help but laughed. The cruelty and selfishness of humanity were fully exposed. Ma Ge was struggling to hold on. He told Xiao Shuai to break the door with a baseball bat while A Jin helped clear the way. McGee was giving it his all, but a zombie bit him.